Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we've got a short stack of books from all ages. We'll take a look at this Amazing Spider-Man number 7 first. Bought this book on eBay a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately when it arrived it wasn't quite as advertised. So you can see it's got some waviness to it. I'm not sure if it got some moisture damage at some time in the past. But the bigger issue was that right here someone had colored in Spider-Man's legs, and the seller didn't. He pictured like every other area besides that. I don't think it was, intentionally malicious or anything, but this bleeds through to the back cover, so it's probably technically considered restoration. I wanted to return the book, but the seller actually offered a pretty good hefty partial refund, so I just went ahead and accepted that. So still happy to have the book. Not quite as advertised, but that's okay. Slide this one over here. After that, we have another Spidey. This time it is number 101. Bought this at a convention last weekend. Got it for $50. Just a nice mid-grade 101. Nothing too special there. After that, we have another Key Spidey, low grade 122. Picked this up at the same show as the 101. Let's see, I got it for like $25, and you can't beat a key like this for that price. So next up is another Spidey key. It is number 300, first full Venom here. I've got a note that I think I want to have a pre-screen done on it. Not sure if it should be pressed or not. I got about 30% discount on this book, so definitely a good price considering this book's hot right now. Definitely a solid copy of this book, just maybe one or two little spine stresses that'll keep it out of the ultra high grade range. One thing I always notice about these, or a lot of these Spider-Man 300s, is the right edge is kind of a little bit jagged. Now that's production issue, so I don't think CGC will do anything about that as far as downgrading goes. But if you find a copy with a super clean right edge, then that's definitely a good thing, because a lot of times these have this little ragged edge. But anyways, I like to do those pre-screens on the books in case I miss something. I don't want a 7.0 of these when I'm expecting a 9.0 and pay for the grading fees. So there you have that. Now moving into some Batman, we have number 227. The classic Neil Adams recreation cover from, what number is that? Detective 29 maybe? I'm not sure on the number there, but got this one at that same comic show. Up next is another more obscure key issue. Another book that I think I'll have pre-screened and maybe graded, maybe pressed. It's the first appearance of, or intro into Quasar. Just a B or C tier character, but pretty much all comics with first appearances are, moving upwards. I'm looking at this now and there's a little crease in the corner here, so probably actually won't have this pre-screened or graded or anything. Anyways, it's a good book for $4. Up next is a classic Golden Age crime cover. This issue is Crime Does Not Pay, number 42. It's got the classic electrocution shadow cover. The artist on this is Biro or Biro, not exactly sure how you pronounce his name. It's a classic crime artist. crime titles, a lot of crime titles. Up next is a DC Super Spectacular, number 4. Just a good giant size issue with a cool Wrightson cover. The little demon guy on it. Up next is another key Batman issue. It is Detective Comics number 405. This is the first League of Assassins. I just figured that out the other day, actually, because this was in a pile of books that I was going to auction off. I'm not sure if you watched one of my previous videos, but I was going to auction off a run from, 401 through 410 or something. And turns out that this book's worth a lot more than most of the other books in that run, so decided to pull it out and sell it separately. Goes for a little bit more money. Up next is Fantastic Four number 53. This is the second Black Panther. This is a very clean copy, probably at least a 6.0. I got it at the same comic show that I bought those other books I mentioned earlier. This person has their prices taped on the back or on the back sticker. So I saw $15 for this book, and of course that immediately went into my pile. When the seller, when I was checking out with the seller, he was like, "Wait, $15 for this issue?" And then he was like, "That's not right." So didn't get it for 15, paid a little bit more, but still got a really good deal on it. So he said his family was helping him price, so somebody made a mistake on that one, I guess. Next up is another Golden Age pre-code horror book. It is Haunt of Fear, number 24. A pretty cool cover. A little blob there. It's got a neat little stamp too. Pretty solid book. Up next is a high-grade copy of The Incredible Hulk, number 340, with Wolverine, the classic Todd McFarlane cover. Beautiful book. Following that, we have a early Marvel or Atlas book, Journey into Mystery, number 40. Just a low-grade copy, but can never go wrong with the early Marvels. Up next is another book that I got at that show. Definitely was not expecting to find a Centaur at the show. Beautiful book, very rare, and for $200, pretty much pick up every Centaur you can. This one's interesting because it says it's a checking copy right there. So I'm not sure if it is a file copy. It's lower grade, probably a 4.0. This is actually, it's not brittle or anything, just a little bit of moisture damage. Beautiful covers, or colors on the cover. Just a really cool issue. I think this is volume 3, number 1. I'll have to double check later. But yeah, rare book. Up next is Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars, number 8. Another book that I might have press and pre-screened. I think 9.4, 9.6 range is around $80 to $100. So basically my thoughts on that are, if I get it graded, I want it to be worth at least $100 in a slab. Otherwise, it's not really worth me paying the grading fees and all that. I'd rather sell it raw. But nice issue of Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars number 8. Up next is another early Marvel Atlas book, Mystic number 51. This cool alleyway shadow cover. Up next, we have first appearance of Nightwing. This is Tales of the Teen Titans number 44. Cool George Perez cover. Another book that's heated up in the last couple years. After that, we have another Golden Age book. It's Shock Suspense Stories number 10. Not a spectacular cover, but a decent Shock Suspense Stories cover. Jolting Tales of Tension in the EC tradition. Up next, we have an LB Cole cover. Not one of the better LB Cole covers. It's Shocking Mystery Cases number 55. Can pretty much always tell the LB Cole covers, by the colorations, by the penciling too, but just one of those covers that kind of pops out at you because of the coloring. So this isn't one of the more expensive LB Cole covers like the Blue Bolts, but a cover that I have never owned before, so happy to have that one. Up next is a Bronze Age book. It is Spidey Super Stories number 39. I just saw Thanos on the cover and wanted to pick it up. I think I got it for pretty cheap, maybe like $5 or something. I don't know what the story is in this book, but with the Avengers movie coming out next year, I'm sure this book will be worth something with a cover appearance of Thanos, whatever you want to call him. Another Bronze Age book is next. It is Star Wars number 42. This is a lower grade copy of the first appearance of Boba Fett in comic book form. It's got some weird little discoloration staining right there, but what I paid for this book, it says $12 there, but I paid like $10. So for that price, I'll pick up these all day long. Up next is a more interesting book. It's not actually a comic. It is a pulp. Pulps and paperbacks are starting to intrigue me a little bit more. Starting to look more into them. And I've never actually read a pulp before. But a lot of times, they'll have beautiful, beautiful cover artwork. Sometimes pretty risque stuff. This one is just a really cool sort of sci-fi cover. Not sure if you have ever looked inside a pulp, but it's like a book. There's no or very limited artwork, just all stories. There's some artwork, but for me, pulps are pretty much all about the covers. Like I mentioned, this is a beautiful sci-fi cover. I love that. These pulps are made from lower quality papers, so they're pretty hard to find in good condition. And when they are, they go for a lot more money, but not as much money as some of the expensive comics of today. So I think pulps and paperbacks still have a long way to go, especially if like a grading company starts and actually grades pulps and paperbacks. Of course, there's a big issue with overhangs with that, because it could damage the books. A lot of these pulps kind of have this overhang that you can see right there, which makes them very hard or impossible to encapsulate or grade. But yeah, this is a great book. Don't know if I'll read it or not. Don't want it to fall apart on me. Although this one's more of a solid copy. I'm sure I'll skim through it. But I think this is the second or third pulp I've ever owned. Definitely looking to pick up more. The lady that I purchased this from was at a convention, and she set up there for the first time, and she was selling her father's collection of pulps and paperbacks, and he had hundreds and hundreds and thousands of books. She didn't bring them all, of course, from the late 30s to early 50s. I was going to buy another one that was actually in really nice shape, but ended up passing on it. Might regret that later, but definitely happy to have this one at least. Oh yeah, and it came in a nice little Ziploc bag too, because the lady that was selling them didn't have bags and boards for them. Got a little bit of flaking from that book. Up next is Thor number 225. First Fire Lord. Semi-key issue here. This is a good book. A lot of times this one might be missing its value stamp, so you always got to check for that. Let me just pull over to it real quick. Right there. Make sure it has that one. And we have Galactus as the final splash page. Pretty cool. After that, we have some X-Men books. We have a very low-grade copy of number 99, you know, first new team. Well, second appearance after Giant Size X-Men number 1. We have a couple of 129s, Emma Frost. And after that, we have a 266. First Gambit. I got to take a closer look at this one because at first glance it looks pretty high grade. I'm not sure if I'll have it slabbed or not though. Last book in this little batch. I've actually got some more books after this one, so I'll show you those in a second. But this is a Wonder Woman number 11. Very solid copy. I think this is the only major defect right here, this missing piece. But just love these giant size, or you know, thicker Golden Age books. This early Wonder Woman cover is pretty cool. Last but not least, a little bit out of order, I've got some more Rick and Morty comics. This sort of I forgot what you call it, gaming magazine themed cover. It's Rick and Morty Pocket Like You Stole It. It's an exclusive variant, issue number 1. Picked up a couple of them. I picked up more than this actually, but these ones I'm gonna have graded. Hopefully they all come back 9.8s. And then I think this is just the regular cover for number 1. So anyways, that's what I got today. Stay tuned for another video, and I've got some more slabs to show off soon. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.